What's going on YouTube? Just having some coffee, and just to let you know, the video you're about to watch I posted yesterday on my Instagram, and it got such an overwhelmingly positive response, I wanted to post it here as well. So I'm not gonna waste your time. Go watch the whole video, watch the whole way through. I think it's gonna help a lot, especially if you struggle with getting motivated to exercise. Really quick, Sorting Hat Squad is officially on. So if you leave a comment with the hashtag Sorting Hat Squad within the first 24 hours of the video going live, then you are entered to win a free month in my inner circle, and I pick the winners after every video after the first 24 hours. All right, with that being said, let's get into it. So yesterday I was having a conversation with a young woman, and she asked me a very good question. She said, Jordan, how do you get someone to exercise who knows they should be exercising, but they just fucking hate it? They view it as suffering every step of the way. It just feels terrible. They don't like it. They don't ever want to do it. How do you get that person to exercise? And looking back on my coaching career, I think a younger coach Jordan would have said, you just need to find what form of exercise you love the most. And part of me still agrees with that. I do think there is merit to that train of thought, ideally finding the exercise that someone loves most. But I remember as a young kid watching a comedian. His name was John Pinette. He was a really big comedian. A huge portion of his act was about sort of making fun of his own weight.
As I get older, I realize that it's important for me to lose more weight, for me to be healthier, to learn how to eat healthy. I never learned how to eat healthy. And I knew I had a long journey ahead of me. When I lost 100 pounds and people said to me, wow, we can really see it in your face.
And he had a whole skit about exercise and about how some people say they just get addicted to exercise.
One trainer took me to a 60-minute workout and he said, once you start, you get addicted. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I can quit this anytime I want. I think I can quit the gym cold turkey, then eat the cold turkey.
And as a coach, this really struck a chord with me, because the reality is this: as I've worked with more people, I've realized that some people just aren't going to like exercise. Some people just aren't going to enjoy working out no matter what. And that's okay. I don't think my job as a coach is to make sure everybody loves exercise. I think my job as a coach is to help people figure out ways to exercise, even if they don't necessarily enjoy it, because it's the right thing to do, because it's going to keep them healthier longer, because it's going to help them live a higher quality of life. So with all that being said, how do I get someone who hates exercise, someone who views it as literal suffering, to exercise? Well, first and foremost, I want to figure out a way to get them to exercise with the least possible resistance. So oftentimes it's finding the thing that they hate the least. So maybe it's just walking for 5 minutes a day. Maybe it's doing a dance class. I don't really care what exactly the method is. Ideally, I want them to do something with the least possible resistance that they can do consistently. That being said, I also have a very direct conversation with them. And I think this is the most important part, because I say this: in life, there are two forms of suffering. You have willful suffering and you have unwillful suffering. Willful suffering is the suffering that you get to choose. This is the suffering that, for example, when you wake up in the morning, when you're nice and comfortable in bed and you just want to stay there, you decide to take the covers off, put your feet on the cold floor, and get a workout in. That is a form of suffering. Again, maybe it's just going for a walk. Maybe it's doing a dance class. Maybe it's doing kettlebells. Maybe it's doing bodyweight training, whatever it is. You are willfully suffering through that exercise because you know the benefits of it will be worth it in the end. On the other hand, we have unwillful suffering. This is something that no one chooses. You don't want this to happen. For example, unwillful suffering in this instance could be not being healthy or fit enough to run around and play with your children. Unwillful suffering could be not feeling comfortable or confident enough in your body to go out and start dating and trying to meet people. Unwillful suffering could be carrying so much extra body fat that your joints are aching on a chronic basis so that you literally can't move without pain. And I tell them this not to scare them, not to shame them, not to guilt them, but essentially to empathize with them and let them know, I understand waking up and getting a workout in is suffering. I get that. It can really fucking suck. And I can understand that you might hate every minute of it. But either you're going to willfully suffer and have the benefits of it, or you're going to unwillfully suffer because you weren't willing to suffer at another point in time. And this might sound really morbid and gross, and some people might get mad at me for saying this, but it's true. Not everybody's going to love exercise. Not everybody's going to be joyous and addicted to working out. That's just a fact. My job isn't to bullshit you. My job isn't to pretend everything is unicorns and rainbows and sunshine when it's not. For some people, exercise is going to be suffering, but just because it's suffering doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. So ideally, find the form of exercise you love the most. Maybe it's walking, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's kettlebells, maybe it's bodyweight, maybe it's bands, who knows? You've got to try a lot, mix and match to see what you enjoy the most. But even if you don't enjoy it very much, even if it's not your favorite, even if it is a form of suffering for you, you've still got to do it. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it 7 days a week for 2 hours on end, but several days a week for at least 20 to 30 minutes, exercise. Willfully suffer, because you would rather willfully suffer and have the benefits than unwillfully suffer and have that just destroy your life.